And what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Comic Book Weekly episode. Today, it's four of us. It's like the Four Horsemen. You guys on me, Chris, Dark Avenger C86. To my side right here is Kat, Comic Uno.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Below me is Mike, Spider Slayer, Comic Book Corner 2.0.
What's up, guys?
And across from me is Michael, Dude of Rock 18.
Hey
everyone, what's up? I love how we can do like the Brady Bunch thing right now. It works so perfectly.
It does.
Brant Last Ember Press should be here. We're not sure yet if he does come.
He's over there for me. He's like
he'll be like
outside the box.
Over there. Yeah, he's out. Oh, you want to go outside? He's over here. He's outside the box that way, or he's up that way. So anyway, with that being said, welcome in, everybody, and I am going to pass it over to Kat now as we start off the show, like every week, with the news.
Yeah, the lackluster amount of news this week.
I tried to give you the best intro I could.
I know. We tried, and I just told you it didn't work. So, yes, this week we have let's do the comic news for. No, you know what? Let's say the comic news. We'll do the two media news pieces we have, and one being that Titans was renewed for a third season. So I haven't watched past the season premiere of season 2, but I heard it's pretty. Yeah, there you go. So we're really into Titans, but I mean, it's cool that DC Universe is doing more with their programming. They don't got a lot, so why not renew this?
And it's funny because I was actually talking to Mike about this right before we went live because we were talking about Disney Plus, and I'm like, I might actually be canceling my DC streaming service because what do I watch on the DC streaming service?
It's true.
Titans. What can I wait for till DVD release? Titans.
I agree with you on that. I don't want to cancel my DC Universe streaming.
I don't want to, but when you look at the spendings and the things that you can cut, it's like, how often do I watch DC Universe? I mean, I got Disney Plus today. I've been on it already for a good hour.
I remember our fake ad, our fake spawn, Verizon has a free year with it. So if you have Verizon, you know, at least that's
I've got to look into that. I'm in my 7-day free trial, but if I can switch it.
I really think you can. Like, I think any Verizon customer gets it. So I don't think it matters what type.
I have to look up how to do it because I tried.
Do you have a Verizon app?
No.
Just upload the app and supposedly like put your information in. It's like on there or like wherever you pay your bills. So or call them.
Give me a login.
Yeah, it just says, "Do you want it for free?" And you're like, "Yeah," and you get it for free.
Oh, and then it just puts it right on your profile.
Well, you have to create a profile for it, but it'd be free.
Yeah. It's like under your rewards type of thing. You know,
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's definitely
like
worth
your
getting it for free.
thing. It's cool. Yeah, I got mine for free. Didn't work for most of the day, Disney Plus, but it finally worked towards the end of the day. And I watched
even been on it.
3 episodes of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends in the first episode of X-Men.
No Mandalorian? No Mandalorian?
Wow.
I'm gonna wait for that. I'm gonna wait for it. I didn't have like that dedication to like sit down and zoom into a new show. That's the only
show though that's there is Mandalorian, sadly.
And the new show, you mean?
Yeah. The new one, yeah.
But there's so much great old stuff to watch. So I was just like, doesn't take any brain power. I just wanted to sit there and just enjoy the old shit.
You're not gonna watch High School Musical, the TV show?
No, I think I'm gonna pass on that. It's so funny though to watch like these old cartoons. It shows you like how dated they are. It is so funny, you know? It's like the voices and everything is exactly how I remembered. But as a kid, I remembered like the animation looked so badass, and now it just looks so bad. It's great.
Opposite of badass. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm excited to play around with it, but I just got it.
Is a lot of the stuff I was bookmarking says not available until fill in the blank month 2020.
Oh, really?
Contracts. Yeah, because I guess Netflix has a few shows still. And a few other streaming services have rights, so they have to wait till those access.
Oh yeah, because Into the Spider-Verse and all that, that's still on Netflix.
Yeah, so you got to wait till the contract expires.
If you want to watch Spider-Man Unlimited, that's on there.
Yep.
Spider-Man Unlimited is on there.
I all the program, most of the cartoons I like are available at launch, so I'm happy.
I know Gargoyles was trending on there, so I mean, if that does well, maybe we'll get new Gargoyles. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen all these shows. I want to watch something new. You know?
Hey, but it's good, man. Even the Spider-Man 90s shows on there too.
As a father, I've already created a profile for Tommy. He loves Lion Guard. There's all Disney Junior shows on there. Disney movies are on there. He doesn't have to wait for it to show up on Disney Junior, the channel. It's a plus if you have a family.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be nice to watch all those stuff, but like by yourself, I just rather watch the new stuff. But so
of course we like the newer stuff because we could discuss it, talk about it, and have a good time enjoying some newer content, of course.
Yeah, we had a couple of images come out from Marvel. We weren't going to discuss it, but it's cool that they're setting up some of the Marvel shows.
What ifs, right? I believe.
What if, and like you got to see the Hawkeye stuff, which is like I guess that's still happening. But Kate looked like Kate, which was really cool. Yeah, Lucky.
Happening.
Yeah, and they gave like little concept images of like the TV show. So I thought that was really cool, and it looks a lot like the comics, which is interesting. And then, interestingly enough, Hailee Steinfeld is an Apple TV show right now because they have that new streaming service, and she'll be on Disney. That's a little crazy. So she's gonna be on both streaming services for TV shows. But she's in the Dickinson television show, and she's gonna be in Hawkeye. That's cool. What about Young Justice season 4?
I just told him I DVD Young Justice as well because Young Justice, I think they did half a season, took a break, put another show up, did another half of the season. I already pre-ordered the full season 3, so I'll just watch it all in one sitting or in several sittings on my DVD Blu-ray player.
I do want to read off a comment, but Young Justice season 3 was kind of lackluster for me. Obviously, I still like the show a lot, but I didn't love season 3 as much as I liked the other two. So if you're choosing between Young Justice, I think it's a show that you can wait for. You have waited how many years for it?
Let me put it this way, Kat. Out of all the shows that have come out of DC Universe in year 1, we're past year 1 now. What would you say is not worth waiting for?
Out of all the DC Universe
everything
stuff?
Was there, and if there was, what?
That's worth not waiting for. Actually, I've seen Harley, and that's pretty good.
But is it out yet?
No, but I've seen it.
You saw it. That's season 2 of the streaming app.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Season 1, I can't wait for. I guess Young Justice because of my fandom, but not because of the content.
Right.
That I got.
I DVD'd it anyway, so for me. I think Doom Patrol, I watched that whole run, except for like the last 3 or 4 episodes as they were coming out. So,
yeah, it's tough. And then, Mike, I think you've only seen Titans, right?
I've seen 2 episodes.
Not the season 2.
Season 1, episode 1 and episode 2, and that's it.
That is all.
That's all I've watched on the entire DC Universe app.
It's tough because it's just such a I was gonna say like a very small group of people that watch the DC Universe thing. It's just comic book fans.
Tevye mentioned comics. Tevye, yes, I know that there are comics on there, but I have Comixology, so
we read so many comics too. Like it's hard enough to read the books that we have now. I rarely go to read back issues.
Let me put this in perspective. I just moved 8 boxes of comics from this room to the attic. I've had enough of old comics. Michael, help me.
Yeah.
One of the boxes almost broke. Yeah, I don't need
It did break.
Comics.
It did break.
Yeah, it's hard to read those old school comics as much as we love them. Like sometimes I'll like really love a run. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling to read Runaways. I'll do that. But I rarely like read a new old comic book, something I've never read before.
I love to read the old stories. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's the same with TV though. Like I have very little time to watch TV. It's just like, that's why, like I said, I was like, oh, it was just cool to just like put on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and just don't do anything with it. No YouTube video, no nothing. Just sit down and just enjoy it,
We also have a comment. Joshua says, hi guys, I just got home from work. Mike, thank you for recommending Marvel Zombies 1. I read it. It was really great.
Good, Joshua. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, we love hearing that type of stuff. And then Sweet says hi, so thank you. So yeah, we got into that Disney Plus conversation, which obviously we had to because it came out. That was the talk of the town. But we are going to go into the next thing that all Michael wants to talk about. He's going to leave after this. No, he won't. But this is the big topic he wants to discuss, and that's the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer came out.
Yes, I was amazed by this trailer. I mean, first of all, that other trailer that we got months ago is completely nightmare fuel done. I mean, this one that they redid of Sonic was actually Sonic. It was just pure amazing. His character, his design was just, it was worth the wait. So definitely it was awesome.
I saw the
I was
trailer
blown away
too.
by this.
Night and day. I mean, you had nightmare fuel with that first Sonic, the way it looked. This one actually looks like Sonic.
They did, and I can't wait for it to come out in February. This is something that I am totally looking forward to seeing.
Dude, that's your month. Bloodshot comes out February too. That's
All
crazy.
right.
You got both. You got to pick which movie you're gonna go see.
Listen, it's called theater hopping. Michael will watch one movie and then go into the next one.
He could do a double feature, but just I know Michael doesn't go to the movie theater that often, so it's interesting
that's
that
the only part that sucks. I don't do that, but
yeah, got to get those AMC stubs. # no spawn.
Yep.
Okay,
I would love that.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's like that's why I go see the movies I do because it's $20 a month and you get to see whatever movie you want. So, and you get like popcorn discounts and stuff like that. So it's very much worth it. Anyways, going into the comic news, which is now Chris. Now this is the topic he really wanted to talk about, and that was TMNT's Jenika getting an ongoing series.
I'm happy about that because Jenika is an interesting character. She's considered the fifth turtle, which if you watch the old TV series, which nobody talks about because it was wonderful. It was wonderful. That fifth turtle, everybody forgot about real quick once the series went off because the series was so bad. Jenika, I feel, is the perfect fifth turtle because any turtle fan, unlike people like Tevye, who's never read a TMNT book,
I don't even read TMNT, and I know who this character is.
Well, I know.
That's true. Some people do, some people don't. But Jenika, I feel like out of all the two fifth turtles, she's memorable because she's a character that we learned about, a character that we got background on before she became a turtle. I'm really interested. Isn't April the? I mean, if she mutates,
turtle, right?
If you want her to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then you can say Casey's the sixth, so Jenika's the seventh.
She's part of the turtle team, I guess. But one thing about this series, which is why I'm not surprised that it's getting ongoing, is that issue she first appeared in is worth some bank. So people really wanted that issue. I
have that issue, the issue where she first mutated and her first appearance, nice and locked away somewhere safe. So no, I'm really excited for it, and it's cool because she's going off on her own, so she's not going to be added to the team. She's with the team now, but she's going to have her own adventures as opposed to, oh, here's a fifth turtle that's now going to be put into the mix. You're getting still the classic team of the four turtles, and you have Jenika who will appear on and off and have her own adventures. I'm excited.
Do you think, though, she can withstand her own solo series, though?
If her character, see, here's the thing. They made TMNT Universe, and that died after 12 issues. That was something that was supposed to be an ongoing, only lasted a year. They've done miniseries that have been amazing. I feel like Jenika, if she's going to take off, it depends how the story arcs go. The first one, everyone's going to buy into. You know that. Her popularity is going to bring anyone who bought the first appearances, anyone who invested in this fifth turtle, they're going to come for the first arc. It's who stays for the third, fourth, fifth arc, that'll determine if the series is going to be a 12 issue or an actual ongoing, I feel.
Right.
I'll buy it until it ends, but there are people who won't invest if they're not as dedicated to the turtles.
I guess
That
we
makes
will
sense.
see where that goes. But let's move on to Alfred gets an RIP one shot with different Batman writers. I think we have Peter J. Tomasi writing it. We have James Tynion, who's the new Batman writer. Some other artists. We got Eddie Barrows and Eber Furrier, who did Blackest Night and Wonder Woman. So he's really dead, guys. We're getting a one shot.
And then at the end of the one shot,
Well, way to spoil the end of Tom King's story by confirming that he's actually dead.
Exactly. And the way he dies is like so forgettable. This is like, that's how Alfred, gets out of here. It's just all I'm not happy.
the last page of this book, Alfred's going to be proven to be alive.
But then this is like, why did I buy a one shot for that? I don't want any of it.
It's
Why
DC
do they have to do
Comics.
this?
At this
Dude,
point,
why-
I'm not surprised.
If they were going to have a funeral for him, why can't it take place in the main book?
I wish it did.
I think that would be a much better ending to Tom King's run. If you know what I'm saying, is having a funeral for him there.
Yeah,
And
no,
him,
I agree.
Bruce saying goodbye, and that's how everything wraps up for his arc.
See, and that's the thing with Tom King's run, is that I feel like there's no genuine character beats, because what you just mentioned, Mike, that's a genuine character beat of like, okay, we get the funeral, people react to it, instead of Bat, Cat, Bane. Those aren't character beats, and that's why I haven't loved this half of his run.
Oh, but I loved it this week in Batman.
Bane!
Batman.
Whole page of it.
I'm sorry. That was so funny. It made it to my top 5. I'm sorry. It just worked this week. Oh, and wait. At the end of the book, Father.
Father!
I'm sorry. It had to make my top 5 because it was entertaining, damn it.
It was very poetic.
Oh,
We will talk about that for sure. Tavia mentions it doesn't matter because we're getting DC 5G, but we know nothing about this. We don't know if it's a crisis. That's why none of us have talked about it
It's
here.
not a crisis. And
It's them saying a timeline exists. That's
Exactly.
what it is.
Is that what they're calling it? 5G?
I guess.
Why does it sound like a phone service?
Right? I was
phone.
going to say it's one better than 4G. Yay!
5G, but 5G is being released on phone service for Verizon and everybody else. So now it's being released on DC Comics.
That's
See,
it.
the whole pushing of cell phones continues here on the show. So now
not a
it's
crisis.
5G.
Yeah,
Why does DC need a timeline now? Why do we need to have that? So
I
other
don't-
writers understand how to write the characters? Is that why they're doing it? Like, what's the point of it?
maybe
That's why I don't know if people are excited for it. Well, it's like Tevye. He thinks it's going to be a crisis, and I'm sure a lot of fans think that, but it hasn't been confirmed that there's going to be another crisis. And is that
Why?
really exciting? Is that
Why do we
extremely-
need another crisis? There's been so many crises. Like, you don't even know what's what anymore. For me, that's the whole problem with DC. There's too many Earths. There's too many crises. There's too many flip-flops. There's too many of everything. Everything, it takes place off of world. Nothing seems to take place on Earth anymore. It takes place everywhere else but on Earth because they don't know how to write the characters that are on the original Earth.
Or they want to completely reinvent characters like Drake, like Superman's Secret Identity. I mean, and that's just one writer, by the way.
Can we just
Killing
get genuine storytelling? Like, I missed that. Like, when did we just get a really good character-driven story from DC? Like, when's the last? Honestly, Batman: Curse of the White Knight was the last one, non-continuity book.
And
It's
that
the
was
last
during
one.
Rebirth. And that was during Rebirth. And I like the Superman where they fused together New 52 and the original and kind of like made it make sense.
And Teen Titans for me is good.
Teen Titans, Dial H. Those are only 2 books that I'm enjoying right now because they're genuinely good character stories. They don't have to have this big story. Like, does Dial H really change the DC universe? No.
I agree with DNGN.
It needs editors, actually, yeah.
It needs an editor because Didio wants a billion different things. Johns wants different billion different things, and they keep colliding. And then Brian Michael Bendis has 12 books and doesn't know how to write any of them. Well, except his creator-owned ones because they're his.
Well, I think Bendis is a good writer. I just think he has a lot on his plate. And I do agree. I think not that it's like, oh, we need good editors. I obviously think there's good editors at DC. I just think there just needs to be more cohesiveness and more of a battle plan.
I agree though. Like I think Bendis and we were all right. We knew that this was going to happen, that he was going to be writing all their books, and it would have been great just to see Bendis write Superman or write Young Justice and just see what he can do with one or two titles, you know. And now I have a feeling he's just drowning in work. It's just too much.
Oh, for sure. I don't know how anyone could possibly write that many
Like,
comics.
for instance, when we talk about it, I'm sure Young Justice
I can't wait to talk about Young Justice.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about Young Justice. The only reason it's not on my chopping block yet is because I want to give it another issue and see what happens.
Yeah,
next.
we'll wait for that. There's so much to say about that book. Anyways, we went on a bit of a tangent, but that's Alfred. We're going to move on to our last topic, which is Gwen Stacy's mini-series coming out. So this is going to explore something that has nothing to do with her and Peter, because it's going to be before they met, and just going to be her. And I don't know how to feel about this. Obviously, I like Gwen a lot, but we have Spider-Gwen. So do we need this?
It's kind of like, at this point, it's almost like, well, why not? Because they probably figure, well, we have the other girlfriend on there, Mary
Which
Jane.
Makes sense because she's like in continuity.
Yeah. So they're probably like, well, let's stick Gwen Stacy in there because people want to know more about Gwen. I don't know. It's a mini series, so why not? You look at it this way, it's like take it or leave it, right? It's just like you want it, buy it. If not, don't buy it. At least it's not an ongoing. Then it would have been a really scary thing. At least right from the start, they're like, yeah, this is a mini series. That's all it's going to be, and be done with it.
And I will say on the flip side, obviously Gwen has not been treated well as a character, which is why Ghost Spider / Spider-Gwen did so well. Who's like, oh my God, this character that, didn't really have much is, they're actually giving her a story. So it is nice that they're trying to give the 616 character an actual story. So I appreciate that, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'll obviously pick it up, but
Sweet mentioned about the Crisis real quick. I do read.
Put that on there.
Oh, okay. I do read Justice League Sweet. I thought it was contained only for. It was my understanding it was only for Year of the Villain. Obviously it'll have ramifications on DC, but I didn't think it'd be Crisis, like Super Crisis levels. I figured it'd be just like Doom 1, then Doom Lost. We'll have to wait and see what DC does.
Yeah, is this Infinite Crisis? Is this Flashpoint? I hope not.
We just had Rebirth. We had Flashpoint, New 52 for 4 years, and then Rebirth. Please.
Well, like we said this in the past, Rebirth is a pretend crisis because literally we're still in the New 52. No, like it's just a marketing ploy to say everything's changed, but the only thing that really changed was Superman. That's it. All the other characters are doing the same exact thing since the New 52.
Batman changed his outfit back.
Yeah, Batman has a new outfit. He's with Catwoman, but all those things happen in the continuity of the New 52. So
I was just going to say that Batman's costume changed multiple times during New 52, so it's not a big deal.
I just think like DC needs to finish whatever is going on. Like finish Doomsday Clock, finish Event Leviathan, finish Rebirth, whatever it is that you want to call it. Just finish something. Finish something before you go into the next thing. That we say that Marvel has a lot of events, but at least they finish an event before they go into the next event.
Right. It goes from event to the next event, at least
right.
At least some type of a timeline. DC has like 4 events: Year of the Villain, Leviathan, Doomsday Clock, which was delayed, and I feel like and Flash Forward now.
We got a couple of comments here. We got DNGN who says, "You're wrong, Cap. Batman learned poetry. Mic drop." That is true. I'm so sorry. And then Kevin also mentioned, what about Redhead Wally West coming back? But but also still in the New 52 continuity. Everything in the New 52 still happened. Just because he appeared, it doesn't change.
It just added another Kid Flash. Exactly. It just added a second Kid Flash. Wallace still exists. He's just called Wallace now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. If Wallace didn't exist, then it'd be like, okay, Crisis. But Wally didn't change much because Doomsday Clock hasn't revealed what has been changed. So nothing has changed. So yeah, anyways. Also, new comic book days on Christmas Day. What do you guys think about that?
I won't be getting any physical.
Yeah, is anyone getting comics on Christmas?
I don't think
it's going to be closed. Everything's going to be closed. Yeah. So you probably won't be able to get your comics till Thursday, I would assume.
Even
And I would-
digital books, I don't see going on. I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
They might.
maybe.
You'll probably be able to go to your shop on Thursday that week.
Yeah, I don't think any of obviously none of us are going to get it on Christmas Day, but Thursday I'd go get it.
I'm not even going to be thinking about new comics on
no.
Christmas Day.
Who's going to be thinking about that? Yeah, so we got a couple more like Watchmen comments. It's just like, sure, but have we gotten any answers about Watchmen? It's like, cool, Dr. Manhattan's here. He's been playing. He's been pulling the strings.
I'm kind of on Alan Moore's side now. I'd rather Watchmen stay in their own universe or have their own universe because I haven't enjoyed anything from Doomsday Clock yet.
I mean, it's just so hard to top Watchmen. So why are people trying? It's just like, why use those characters? But then you have the TV show, which I think is okay to do.
Just where they brought Hope back to the DC universe. I mean, they kind of made it look like they were, and then they went back to their old ways 2 months after Rebirth.
And also just bringing Hope back, which was Wally. I think Heroes in Crisis was the symbolism of when that all changed.
You're the villain. Here we go. You're the villain's the only event that mattered of all. Guys. That's why it's in every book. Chris, the reason for that symbol was revealed in Justice League this week. No,
I have not been liking You're the Villain.
I've been.
I still do not understand exactly what Year of the Villain is.
There's symbols in the sky. And Lex Luthor's behind it.
I understand where you're going because Perpetua's been destroying Earths again. So it's kind of like Crisis on Infinite Earths. She's destroyed in Justice League. She destroyed Batman of Britain's or Olden, the Gaslight, Batman's Earth. She destroyed it. Basically, she's doing what the Anti-Monitor was doing during Crisis on Infinite Earths. And the symbols across all the multiverse now.
Like all I know is like heroes are being called upon from Lex Luthor, and no, I don't know. What are they gonna do? Defeat the good guys like they've always been trying to do? Like I don't understand the point of this. It's just
it interrupts all the book. Heavy. It will destroy you, Mike. Justice League is a killer to read every week.
Yeah, it's very long. I'm glad I dropped that book.
I'm reading it because, as Sweet said, obviously ramifications are going to be felt everywhere at some point.
Oh, yeah. No, if you're a DC fan, I think, or a hardcore DC fan, I think that's a book you should be reading, but it's a little tough.
I still don't feel like it's a crisis on the level of Crisis on Infinite Earths, even though we're seeing a lot of it. If I've learned anything from DC over the past 5 years, it's that their crises usually have ramifications for a couple of months, and then everything goes back to normal anyway.
Yeah.
Rebirth, New 52 lasted a while. Rebirth, what was that other one? Convergence, all that stuff. Even Doomsday Clock. Even Doomsday Clock. It doesn't
Futures
matter.
End.
Oh,
Futures End. Oh my God.
book.
I completely forgot about Futures End. And what did that impact? Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
That was it.
And if you read that book now, it doesn't.
It doesn't because they fixed it.
They fixed it, yeah.
So
Identity Crisis? Nope. Doesn't matter.
None of it matters.
I'm sorry, Heroes in Crisis. Nope. Didn't matter. It only affected Wally, and now we have Flash Forward anyway.
And I guess Poison Ivy too, which I don't think it's like the best book in the world, but I do like the way they're dealing with the aftermath of Heroes in Crisis in that book. Yeah, so I guess we'll go into the Under the Radar book now.
Yep. All right. So now it is time for Under the Radar books that we are going to be talking about this week. And for me, I'm going to start off first with my Under the Radar book. And I'm going to be talking about Grimm Fairy Tales 2019 Holiday Special Issue number 1. So it is the holiday seasons. And when I saw Grimm Fairy Tales, and when I saw Grimm Fairy Tales, I wanted to see what it was about because I don't read much of Grimm Fairy Tales. Like I know Chris does, but I wanted to see how this was since I've been reading Zenoscopes, and it wasn't really a bad book. Like in every holiday special, there's always like 2 to 3 stories, and this one had 3 stories where it talked about, elderly people who get kidnapped by these two guys, and then the elderly people turned out to be the evil. They have like an evil demonic thing in the closet or something, which was kind of a little bit weird-ish in that sort of way. And then you got like a second story about this whole thing about this old lady who lived like near the water, and then when she dies, there's these cops who investigate about it, and you get like these teenagers who are looking into it, and one of them actually could transform into a cat. And this third one was actually pretty funny, kind of, because it was like a snowman story, how these thugs destroyed the snowman. It kept coming back to life, and it turned out that it was a live snowman, and turned out to kill them. So very bloody and very gory for a holiday book. It was a very good issue for a holiday.
That sounds like a question mark.
Did it get you in the holiday spirit?
I totally feel like I'm in the holiday spirit now.
Maybe just the Halloween.
It felt more of a Halloween book with all that stuff that was happening.
Grimm fairy tales. I am not surprised.
Closet demons. We all have them.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what Ellen molds. It's funny.
I don't know. I thought that the Claws guy was going to be in it because he was in the other ones, but I guess not. So the next one, I'm going to pass it on to Chris with his Under the Radar book.
I have to make sure I'm saying yes. Lock and Key Dog Days. I have to talk about this book because any fan of Lock and Key is going to want to check this out. It has a bunch of little stories in it. Obviously, the first story involves the artwork was a little bit. I had to get used to it as I was reading the first story. It was about these boys. They used the animal key, turned into dogs. There's your dog days. Then we go into, I believe there was one other side story or two other side stories. One about a man who builds a house using a builder key. And the third one is leaving my mind for some reason. I read all my books literally at once. But if you're a Lock and Key fan, you're going to want to read this book. I'm happy we're getting more Lock and Key, even if it is these one-off one-shots with a bunch of different mini stories in it. I actually have to pick this up physically. It's the only Lock and Key book I don't own physically yet, so I've definitely got to grab that. Almost went under my radar until I checked out the IDW listings, and also Brant mentioned it to me. So if not for Brant, I probably would have missed it.
All right, then. Mike, what was your Under the Radar book?
Dead Rabbit issue 2. I thought that book was really good this week. It was good the first issue as well, but man, we get this continuation of the guy by the name of Dead Eyes, who's a famous bank robber from the 90s, and now he's back in action because his wife got sick and he's trying to get money to pay for the hospital bills, and just everything goes wrong for this guy this time around. His getaway guy like passes out and he has to drive, and he drops him off at the hospital. It's just a really good book, man. It really is a page turner. It's written well. The pacing is good. Just everything about the book is really a lot of fun. So if you guys are looking for a good independent comic book out there from Image Comics, I think this is a really fun and good story because you want to feel for this guy. He's a bad guy, but he's doing bad things, but for the right reasons. He's trying to help his family out. So
yeah,
he's
really definitely the definition of an anti-hero here.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like the best indie book that came out this year so far. It's a really, really good book. And I like that even in the end, like he tells his wife everything. He's like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
Yeah, and she knows it too. She's just like, he goes, I was at work. And she's like, oh, you were at work. So it's like, it's just funny. It was so clever too at the end of it. Also, like how he just he dropped his friends out in the hospital, and he's like, "Oh shit, I can't run anywhere." So he takes off all his clothes, and he's in the hospital himself.
And the action is just so good because Wheels over there is not very good at his job. And he just gets drunk in front of the steering wheel, and it's Dead Eyes who has to go off, and the vodka goes underneath the gas pedal. It was such a good
Yeah.
issue. It was good.
So for the viewers that are not familiar with Wheels, Wheels is his getaway driver. And this guy's old, and he was drinking before he had to, get away. And when Deadeyes goes and gets into the car, the dude is completely passed out. And not only did you find out that he was drunk, but he had a diabetic attack as well. So he had to push him over.
And then he goes through the windshield and he's somehow still alive. It's crazy issue. Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
Oh, it's so
yeah.
good. It's so good. I recommend this book. It's all. I thought he was dead for sure, man, and he was still alive.
He
was pushing him around in the shopping cart too.
Well, like they say, never question comic logic because.
No, but in a good way. It's a really, really clever book, and the dialogue is just so good in this series. It's really character driven. It's good stuff.
DNGN says this sounds like it would be an awesome Netflix show.
Oh yeah,
actually,
probably, yeah.
Maybe one day.
All right. So since that's all Mike has to say, Kat, what is your under the radar book?
Mine is We Are the Danger issue 5. This is the last issue of the miniseries. It took a year for this to come out. Sadly, yeah.
Wow.
It took a while.
Wait,
like exactly
how many
a
issues?
year.
Like the second issue this is?
5. This is the 5th issue. It's the last one. So between issue 4 and 5, it took a year to come out. But yeah, this was a good solid issue. It's the band seeing if they can win Battle of the Bands, and they find out it's rigged by their arch nemesis, and we learn a little bit about the arch nemesis background. It's just a fun slice of life music book. So if you enjoy those type of stories like the Archies, then you'll enjoy this one.
Okay. And that is all of our under the radar books. Tevia says my under the radar is Deathstroke issue 49, a great story that I am going to be sad to see end. I mean, all good things have to come to an ending sometimes. I've stopped reading Deathstroke issues back because the story was just, for me, in my opinion, was not progressing. That's why.
If it wasn't for Rose, I would have dropped it a while ago as well, but I stuck through.
All right, so now I'm gonna pass the next segment on to Mike, where he does what segment's next.
Yeah, guys. So we're gonna be talking about the big books or the key books this week, and then we'll be leading it into our top 5. And if you guys have any big books or top 5, just let us know. When we talk about the top 5 or our number 5, that's when you put your number 5. When we talk about our number 4, that's when you put your number 4. So then this way, if we read your guys' comment out, it's easy for us to find in the comment section.
And there will be spoilers.
Yes. There
and
is
of
spoilers.
course, Chris is not here to do the spoilers. Let me see if I can find it.
You've been warned. Spoiler. It's you're being spoiled. That you're being spoiled by our presence here today. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a good one, Mike.
Right. Yeah, like that. All right. So one of the first, I guess, big books that I don't know. This is not a big book, but it is a new number 1. Legion of Superheroes issue 1. That's the first one we're going to be talking about. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not reading this book anymore. We're going to talk about it later, what's going on the chopping block, but I didn't like the art. I thought the story was boring. I thought it was a lot of standing around. I couldn't get to know the characters because there were so freaking many of them. And it was just flipping boring. The only thing that I thought was cool was seeing New Metropolis, like seeing that 2-page spread. I thought that was kind of cool on how they, I guess, preserved the Earth some way. But otherwise, besides that, I don't care. I really don't care about this one. So
well, it's also tough because there's not a lot of hardcore Legion fans, which is why this, we don't get a lot of Legion books. It's you have a small group of hardcore fans. So if you don't know anything about Legion of Superheroes, like a lot of us, I learned absolutely nothing. I'm just like, all right, I know Saturn Girl's a character. I already did know that. Like Mike said, there's so many characters here where I'm just like, okay, I was not a fan of this book either, and I think it had potential to reinvent itself, and it just didn't.
I couldn't get to know any of the characters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem with it. And then I just didn't find any of them interesting. And I was just so not necessary for me. Did you read this, Chris?
I hated this book. It's on my chopping block. I knew I was going to because I don't like Bendis's writing, and I knew he was alluding to it in Superman. Boring. Didn't like the artwork. Agree with you there, Mike. See,
I thought the art was the best part of the book, but
there were certain panels that shined, but honestly, it's not the Legion of Superhero I enjoy reading. I knew I wasn't going to like it. I bit the bullet reading this first issue. I didn't like the Millennium startup to this.
Well, Rose was in this book too, so if you missed her, she's in it.
I don't on the last page.
No, because she's just been pushed throughout every book Bendis has been writing. So that's like
she's been pushed. Naomi's been pushed. John being older has been pushed, and his thoughts on Superman and everything connected.
I think Rose is the most unnecessarily pushed though. Like Naomi, I understand they're trying to interject her into the other stuff. Fine. Like John, all right, he's older. That's a big plot point, and then the Superman stuff is going to affect a lot of the DC universe. But Rose and Thorne. Why are you here?
Some people actually think it's a great representation. I know a few friends that like the representation of the dual personality.
Oh, because I was like, is she representing it? I mean, it's cool that they have, like, showing mental disorder, I guess, but that's interesting. But I don't think they show it well.
No, it doesn't save Legion. It's not a Legion. I mean, I want to say it's not a Legion of Superheroes book, but clearly it is. But to me, it isn't. It doesn't feel like Legion. It just has it doesn't hit any of the points.
All I know about the Legion is that Timberwolf is a discount Wolverine.
I don't even know who Timberwolf is, so that's how much I know about.
Is not a discount Wolverine. He has a hot head. He's got like that. Wolverine. He's got Wolverine characteristics, but he's not a discount. I like Timberwolf. And another thing, I don't like how Bendis has all the characters represented.
I want to know more about these characters.
I don't want to know any more about these characters. Let's move on from this craptacular book and let's go on to another new #1 this week that had a lot of buzz about it. This one is Undiscovered Country. This is issue 1. This was a very interesting book too. I thought this was a lot for a first issue to take in. I think it's going to be a pretty cool series, but it's just a lot of setup for this particular issue when it comes to this world and this virus and the people in it. It's kind of the same thing. It's like there's a lot of information and you got to make sure you take your time to read this book. I think it's going to be a cool story. I just wasn't I think I had such high expectations for it that it didn't meet those high expectations, but it was definitely a solid read. And I can't wait to see what happens with it going forward.
Yeah. We talked about this in our Undiscovered Country video, so definitely go check that out. But me and Mike were pretty much in agreement for a lot of this book. And it would have been nice if they had some sort of focal point character to follow. It would have been a lot easier, but definitely gave me enough because of the creative team to read the next issue. And the artwork really good.
Yeah, and at the end, you got Uncle Sam. You know what I found out, Kat, that we didn't put together? The Uncle Sam character is the guy that put out that message for them to come to America to begin with. He just is not as clean cut as he once was.
Oh, is that the cliffhanger?
Yes, because he's the one that put out the message, you can come to America and blah, 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 when he was a doctor or whatever. And then now his hair's all overgrown. He's got that scar and everything. So,
so just that time has passed. That's
time
interesting.
Has passed since that message. Yeah.
I just thought what was cool about that cliffhanger is just like how it has to do with propaganda. So maybe going to America is also propaganda to go get this, antivirus thing. So maybe it doesn't exist because it's all just them trying to get to America and they find out, oh shit, America's not all what it's cracked up to be. So we'll see how we'll see how that works out.
DNGN says Snyder's work is becoming a lot more plot driven. than character driven. I mean, I like the plot of the story, but hopefully he does flesh out these characters more, because these characters are going to be crucial in a book like this.
You know, it's so crazy. I literally reread some of American Vampire yesterday. Like we were talking about, like we read so many comics, but sometimes it is nice to have those comfort comics. So I don't read a lot of old books I haven't read, but stuff that I love, I'll reread. And American Vampire is a book I love rereading. And I've read it, you know, that is his first book pretty much. And it is so character driven. And that's why I love it. You just get into the heads of Pearl and all these characters. So it's so weird. Yeah. How his writing has changed so much over the years, where I think Batman was that shift. Like it started out as a really character driven book. And then as it ended, it became very thematic, and we lost Chris. Thank God I'm also on the Comic Frontline account. Or else we won't lose our stuff. But yeah, so it's, I hope he goes more into the character driven stuff, especially that he has a co-writer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Undiscovered Country is a book I think we recommend it, but just give it some time, you know, to see how it turns out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And then the next one that we're going to talk about before we get into our number 5 is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 33. This one continues to slowly towards the Spider-Man 2099 storyline. And
yeah,
I did not like this book at all until the very, very, very end, as it looked like they were going to go after Dr. Doom, which is very fitting, because if you read the Dr. Doom issue, he actually gets shot in that issue, which is kind of funny. But this book, it was just like, I didn't care about the life metal decoy about Silver Sable.
I like that page, though. I really like
I love how
the artwork.
Destroyed. Yeah, that was cool. But I didn't care that she was the life metal decoy. I didn't care about how she came back. I didn't care about the Chameleon's objective. I didn't care about any of that stuff. But
even the whole presentation thing was kind of a little like about the
so slow.
Appear across multiverse.
Oh yeah, the
like,
ending.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, because they're just trying to like connect it with his schoolwork. I think this is the weakest arc we've gotten of this series thus far.
The whole multiverse thing across multiverses, isn't that sort of copying DC?
No.
Kind of.
No, they've done multiverse stuff. Look at Gwen.
I understand, but I'm just saying the way they explained it.
I mean, I think it's always going to be the same either, no matter what universe you're in.
I mean, first of all, when I read the issue, I mean, I didn't like, I don't mean to cut you off, Mike, but I just wanted to say like my thoughts about it. Like, I mean, I don't like that they did 2099 of Miguel in a short segment or anything. And the whole Silver Sable thing was just a little bit like thrown at us, that it, you know, how she's still alive and everything. And the whole Dr. Doom getting targeted, I had no clue, because I didn't read the Dr. Doom issue, like you said.
Well, they don't tie together. It just happens to be that in his regular series too, that he's getting targeted as well. It's just a coincidental thing, you know?
Right.
So
like
I was just expecting more Spider-Man 2099 and not so much of this Chameleon story that I don't care about. You know? So
I don't even know if I care about Spider-Man 2099. So it's just, I don't know where this arc is going, but I've been pretty disappointed with it.
It just feels like just an average story. I mean, the artwork was great, just an average story.
And DN says, I don't like spy stuff in my Spidey's books. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we had the whole Teresa Parker thing where she just takes off too.
Why is
she's like, I don't care about you guys. Well, screw you. I'll see you later.
They want to make her a character.
What was that?
Yeah. I don't know.
This was a bad book this time around. I agree. This is my weakest story arc so far up until this point. So we'll see how it leads into 2099 and what Miguel's role here, because I felt like he was barely in this issue whatsoever. So you don't even know what's going on with him.
He's just looking for Peter Parker or Spider-Man. That was it.
Right. All right. So we're going to move on to our number 5. Tevia's number 5 this week is Justice League issue 35. An interesting story about Perpetua going crazy and destroying Batman by a gaslight world. But damn, having the rest of the Justice League teaming up with the GSA is tons of fun. Glad you liked it. All right. So my number 5 this week. What the heck was it? Oh, book we talked about already. Undiscovered Country, issue 1.
Nice.
All right, Kat, what was your number 5?
Mine was actually Deathstroke issue 49. That was a pretty good issue. It's the penultimate of the book, and the only You're the Villain thing I've actually enjoyed, because you think Jericho's going to die in space, and then there's this crazy battle between him and Deathstroke. So I thought it was a pretty good issue, and I like where the family drama ends up going. We'll see who survives the ending of this series, but it was a good lead up to again, the finale of this book.
And another DC book that is going away.
Yeah. And honestly, like a solid one. Sometimes it really wasn't good, but when it was good for me.
Yeah, 50 issues, man. It's a long time. So
yeah, same creators too, like same creative team throughout. I think it's the same artist as well. They really didn't change up the artist at all.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Michael, what you got?
I got Red Sonja issue number 10. I found this issue to be a little bit boring, like the beginning part really, because it talks more about Dragon's point of view of naming him the new person, the new king. You have Sonja's team who feels that they've been defeated, but we all know Red Sonja won't give up that easily. We have a storyline that Domo tells about with his story, and it went in many different directions. So after reading this, I was not really happy with this issue. I'll give one more issue a try to see how it goes, but I don't know. Like it's been like an up and down slope. Like ever since Red Sonja went to that tower of whatever that long name was, that's when I kind of saw it drag down a little bit. Like last issue was really good, but this one, with it going in many different directions, I just felt that it had to be number. I mean, I read 5 books, like I said, this week. If it was going to be more than that, I probably would have put it as my least. But yeah, this book, I had to put number 5. And my number 4 is going to be something else too, because I had trouble picking my top 5 and 4. But we'll get to number 4 after this. So,
gotcha. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to move on forward now to the next.
Oh, wow. Cat's back. I was just about to say, just you and me.
I am
just
back.
Next set of books here before we get into number 4. And we're going to talk about Batman issue 82. So this one was more action heavy. I kind of like this book this time around because it was Batman and Catwoman actually fighting, and they're going against Bane, and I liked it. I had a good time with it. I love Batman about to take his freaking Bane's break his back, which I wish he kind of had. I thought that would have been kind of good, full circle type of thing. But then, of course, freaking Batman gets shot. Like, really? But nevertheless, I thought it was an improved issue, especially because the artwork was better too. So visually, it looked nicer. So I don't know. What'd you think of Batman this week, Kat?
I agree. It was better. It was my number 8 this week. I still don't love the dialogue of this book, but yeah, the action was good. I like that it's going to be Batman versus Batman in the next issue. I like that Catwoman came in and, it was symbolic of Batman's allowed to ask for help. It's not always just about him. So it's, symbolic about their relationship. So it made that feel worth it. And yeah, it's a pretty good issue. I like the battle. Artwork's beautiful. So it's one of the better issues this time around.
Yeah, he's fighting with the batarang in his freaking head. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
it just
some
felt
good
like
action.
Felt like it's a great action scene in a movie, and that's what I appreciated there. So, just wish there was kind of more of that in this series than the sitting around and on vacation wearing a mustache and writing poetry the whole entire time.
Oh, you didn't love that?
No, not so much. Pretty boring.
I think my favorite part was the poetry about his old childhood book.
Oh my God. Yeah.
for like
that
3
was
issues.
Gee whiz. I remember like when Tom King first started that, when he first started this whole Catwoman thing, and I remember everyone really liked it at first. So I was like, oh yeah, it's like a love letter. And I remember like the second time it happened, I was like, yeah, but we already saw this. You know what I'm saying? Like I got fed up with it really quickly.
Oh,
And then it just kept on continuing and continuing and continuing.
yeah, after the
And
wedding, I think it really went down for me.
yeah,
and
I agree.
And that sucks because I remember after the wedding issue, I was like, oh, it's not gonna be that bad. Like I'm sure he has a plan because all these other issues were really good. And then it went so downhill so quickly.
Tanked. All right. So next, I didn't read this one, but Kat, maybe you did. Buffy the Vampire.
Yeah. Just shortly on it. I don't even remember what really happened in it, honestly. This issue. Okay, so this issue we get to see all the different parts of Buffy not being here because she's in the Hellmouth and what everyone else is doing. And the only 2 parts I really liked was Giles getting angry at Miss Calendar and Rose and her girlfriend having a fight because Willow's definitely Willow and her girlfriend Rose. They're gonna fight because Willow's kind of going into this dark magic stuff. So I thought that was interesting. But everything else just kind of felt fillerish and didn't really connect to the Hellmouth as much as I wanted it to. But yeah, it was an okay issue. Not too
special.
bad. Yeah, nothing too special, but not a bad issue. It's just kind of there.
Huh. Anybody know what happened to Chris? Like he's not
supposedly his internet froze.
Oh, jeez.
Well, let's hope his computer comes back.
Yeah, right. Hopefully he comes back soon. All right. So, then the next one is not one of my favorites this week.
Oh, Ileana.
New Mutants Issue 1.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Boring. Boring.
It was a very boring issue.
I did not like the artwork.
I like the art.
I don't care for the characters in this book, except for Ileana, but her parts are so far and few between, it doesn't make me want to read the next book. And why the hell do you want to continue to read a book that's going to take place in space? You out of all people.
I think I'll read. In all
honesty,
I'm pretty sure I'll read issue 2 and be like, I'm gonna drop this, but I gotta give the next issue a try. I gotta. I just really want Ileana to have the best. And
why
she doesn't
go into space?
I don't know. Honestly, it's really not a great issue. And also like what is hard is that if you're not a New Mutants fan, like I always wanted to get into New Mutants. But every book that comes out is so catered to the old fans. Like you're not invited to the party. And that's the same thing here. Like I don't understand any of the character interactions. I just like Ileana and that's it. And I like the art.
And I think they don't do a good job. I think what Hickman doesn't do a good job in this book is it Brisson, because they both do it, is they really don't reintroduce the characters very well.
No.
And so New Mutants are the New Mutants, and they've been around for a while. But like you said, I think they have their following is not the same as the X-Men. So it's kind of like, I think you should kind of reintroduce these group of characters and get to understand them better. Or maybe they will as time goes along, but I just couldn't get into it because for me, I didn't like the artwork as much as maybe you did. And so that took me out of it, and the story took me out of it. And same thing. I was just bored to death, man. I didn't like this one.
I also don't love the directions going in. Yeah, space stories, but maybe we'll get to see more of that wacky summer family house. That's the only thing you could look forward to is just a lot more diagrams about that.
Yeah, so that one was a miss for me. All right, so we'll move on to the number 4 pick, and my number 4 I think was a book we also just talked about, and that was actually Batman for me. C.D. Bain, issue 2, 82. It was just mainly because of that cool cover. It's about it. That's what I was
just the cover. But Ileana had a cool cover for New Mutants.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, that's
but it just sucked.
Not enough.
No. I think I put the cool cover away in my storage, and I kept the
so-
crappy cover.
Mm.
So the crappy cover is the one that actually goes in the countdown of comics, not the cool cover.
That's sad.
Yeah. Yep. So let's see. Tevia says number 4, Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 12. Finally, Miles and his uncle are bonding. Also, bonding. He said bounding. They're bonding.
They're
Also,
bombed together.
Miles and the Prowler are going to join John Wick. This is going to be awesome. And I dropped this shit finally. There's no way I'm not reading this book anymore. So I'm glad you like it, Tevia, but I've given this series way too many issues. It's now actually gone out of my pull list. So good luck, Miles. May the force be with you.
It's just a boring book. And
Yep.
the artwork is not good for that book either.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not at all. Michael, what's your number 4?
Spider-Man Venom Double Trouble issue number 1.
I thought you didn't like it.
I think he said he didn't like either. What was your number 5?
Red Sonja.
Yeah.
So you hated Red Sonja more?
Because it was very hard to choose my top 5 and 4, but like the only thing
I'll
about
be right
like
back.
Okay.
yeah, like at first it really just started off weird. Like we have Spider-Man who does his thing. We have Venom then on his side who's fighting against Green Goblin, which was kind of a little bit there. But what they also are, they're roommates. Spider-Man and Venom. Yes, I said it. They are roommates with each other. And you have then Ghost Spider who shows up talking to Spider-Man. And she's saying to him that Venom's throwing all my garbage over in my garden and to tell them to stop doing all that stuff. And I thought that was kind of a little weird. And Spider-Man was trying to tell him. And then the ending, get this though. In the ending though, both Spider-Man and Venom switched bodies temporarily.
Freaky Friday.
Temporarily. And that was it for now.
So for now, are you going to read more of it or?
I don't know. Between the weird artwork and I don't know what to say about the story at all. Just they better come up with something for issue 2 to keep me holding because just a waste. No. So, yeah.
Good to know that series is not that great, so other people won't pick that up.
Yeah, Michael doesn't like it. We really lost Chris on this one.
Yeah, right, man. All right, who was your first, Kat?
Mine was King Shazam, issue 1. So we're finally talking about the title of this series, or this episode. So with this one, we get to see Shazam go into his, who laughs scenario. So if you've been reading Batman and Superman, this is a really good tie-in. And Mary Marvel's like, what the hell is going on with my brother? I'm going to go find him. And then, she tries to talk some sense into him. He stabs her and she now is becoming, it looks like a Who Laughs character. So I thought that was really cool. And I'm like, oh, like, where are they going to pick this up? That's interesting. So it's just interesting to see Billy be the bad guy and how that happened and how his family was interacting with it, especially since we haven't gotten Shazam in forever. It's nice to actually have a Shazam story. And I think Cena Grace did a pretty solid job. I wouldn't mind him taking over the actual series because, we'd actually get Shazam again. So
Right.
it was good though. And also artists of Immortal Hulk did the art for this one.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't read this one just because I had enough books to read.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, do I want another Batman Who Laughs tie-in book? You know what I'm saying? I was just like, do I really need it? So I didn't actually read this one, unfortunately.
I don't think you necessarily have to, I guess, besides the cliffhanger, depending where they take it. But yeah, it depends on how big of a Shazam fan you are. And I know you're either dropped the other one or thinking of dropping it.
Yeah, I did read. I mean, I've read every single one, but it took me out of it because obviously of the delays that's happened there.
Yeah.
All right. So that was our number 4. So we're going to talk about some more books. This one is a fun one, everybody. This is Young Justice, issue 10.
Oh, God, I have so much to say about that book.
All right. So Young Justice has our heroes going from, again, I talk about traveling like multiverses and all these places. Why can't Young Justice just stay in one place? No, we get lost in the multiverse and we got to travel from place to place.
Especially because
And
they're
then-
not a team yet.
What's
so
that?
It's just like, especially because they're not a team yet. So you don't really understand the interactions, but they're also in this multiverse.
Right. And so then in this one, you get, I guess, a origin kind of story with Jenny Hex. And then you end up getting this weird love story with the Batwoman in this world, which is Stephanie Brown and Drake, even though in the last issue, she was like, I'm not your Stephanie. And she randomly cries at the end when Drake leaves. Like, that was just so weird and off the wall. And then this book sits there and promotes Naomi on its front page. And this is typical Bendis. He's like the clickbait of comics. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, Naomi joins the team in this issue. She's on the last freaking page. That is it. There's so many things wrong with this book. If it just dealt with maybe just Jenny Hex's story, I would have been actually fine with that.
I really liked her story, actually.
I was really into that. And they kept on interrupting that story with some stupid action plots. And it interrupted the flow with the book. And that's what I didn't like about it.
The copy-paste nature of this issue honestly made this, I don't want to say it's like the worst book I ever read, but it's the most incohesive book I've ever read because there's about 4 storylines going on in here. And yes, Ginny was really interesting, but I agree. They like cut it off. Like even when the mom's talking, it's like, all right, so what happened to the mom? Like, what? All right, we got this treasure chest. And I like Ginny. I think there were some really interesting little tidbits. It's like, okay, she's probably 18 or so. It seems like she's taking care of her mother. So it's like, why is she doing this? Like, what's her story? And then it looks like maybe that was her girlfriend and her girlfriend cheated on her. It's like, is that true? What's going on? And it's like so many interesting little plots. And
they never touched on any of it. Yeah. It's like she gets the chest and you see her using the weapons. And then you see her, with the girl, with the girlfriend is with the boyfriend. And you don't know who she is. And then you don't know if the mom is sick, like what's wrong with her, and there's all these different issues just to deal with this plot. And then they randomly leave and Stephanie Brown is crying. Right?
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's like, when did they fall in love? Unless like she had a Tim in her universe. I don't know. I don't know anything about this Stephanie. It's just so weird. Nothing's fully fleshed out. It's just like everything are half thoughts in this book. And then, the Naomi thing. It's like this is promoted as Naomi's joining a team. We see her in the last page.
Yeah, exactly. So that was fake. I was like, wow. I even totally forgot about that. Naomi was supposed to be in this book while I was reading it until I got to the last page. And then when I flipped the book back over, I'm like, wait a second. This book was promoting Naomi that she was going to be in this book,
Yeah,
so. And
she was not. We do have a question from SM Down who brings up something about the show, which I was commenting on, but we could say it on air too. You guys ever think about taking out clips of this show and putting them on the channel, individual segments like the news and other topics? So we did do that when we did the audio, and the views did not show. And also one thing we've been trying to obviously do is get more viewership onto this podcast. So we break it up. I don't think people would watch this podcast. They would just watch those clips instead of watching the full podcast. So that's why we most likely wouldn't do it. And then SM says, not a fair comparison. I wouldn't watch just based on it being only audio. I watch YouTube to see you, comic Frontline. I mean, I really think it would just be separating viewership, sadly. And we really don't want to deter people from not watching these episodes. And I think it would just deter people to not watch them. Like we would be promoting it for people not to watch this podcast.
That's why we do the separate topic videos and the other group videos, so people get an idea or a taste of what this show kind of is, so we can get people to watch the main show. So again, want to check out other things, check out like the topic time, share those. So it's just a small taste. It's a sampling of basically what we do. So.
That's a really good point, Mike. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And we obviously, thank you for your opinion and thank you for the recommendation to do it. It's just that we've done it in the past, and sadly, it hasn't worked. And what we've been trying to do, as you guys can see, is get the viewers up for the show, and get live viewers up. So if you guys want the show to be successful as well, definitely be sure to tell people about it and watch this live if you can, because it helps us out.
Absolutely. I feel like we have a good conversation. We have a great discussion on comics and all kinds of stuff, and definitely hope that other people get to watch in the future,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps if you guys can spread the word, share it, like the video, let people know that we exist out there, because we've been doing this show a long time, and I feel we are very competitive with the other people, so hopefully it pays off for us. All right.
I agree.
So we talked about Young Justice, so let's move on and talk about the Immortal Hulk now. So this was another big dialogue-heavy book this time around, but this was really setting up the next story arc. That's how I feel about this one, with Bruce Banner talking about how he wants to end the human race because the human race is destroying everything. And it was a quite interesting book. I mean, not all I can say. I don't want to go into too much detail about this one because, like I said, it's setting up I guess the new status quo for Hulk and his people, and now he's going to do battle against this like Minotaur guy. So, what did you think about this one, Kat?
I really liked this book because obviously, if you compare it to the issue 25, that was just so different. But this is delving into the philosophy of the Hulk, which is so cool. He's just like F this world at this point. And and it was interesting to see how he did take over Shadow Base in the end, and what this means for the Hulks, but what this means about humans seeing the Hulks, what they represent as people. We got Chris joining the stream. I really enjoyed this issue a lot. It was my style. I don't think it's for everybody, and I do agree it's very setup-y. But this is the type of long dialogue I like. It actually has a lot of meaning behind it.
Definitely, that's what you have to expect from Ewing's writing, and I think like if you pay attention to this issue, you're going to get your payoff as time goes along. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and you get to see like how people are reacting to the Hulk, and you gotta love the conversation between Amadeus and Banner himself too about about Bruce, you sure you're making the right decision? He's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. So I thought it was cool, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next future issues here going forward.
Yeah, and I mentioned this in my Newsarama review, and I just kind of remembered when you mentioned him talking to Cho, but I said that this is the issue where you find out Bruce is the monster as well, or at least is just as big of a monster as the Hulk, and I think that was really cool to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So definitely a good book. All right, so we're gonna go on to our number 3, but before we do that, I'll just get Chris's. Chris, did you give your number 5?
No, my number 5 was Ghost Rider issue number 2. Did you guys talk about that at all?
No.
I'm enjoying it. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I've been. Danny is trying to stop Johnny, who he thinks has gone completely crazy as far as being the head of hell. And Johnny is trying to explain to Danny that everybody you think's human is actually a demon. So the huge miscommunication between the two of them, and the ending of issue 2 where Johnny kind of strips Danny of his spirit of vengeance and turns him back to normal and takes away the Ghost Rider curse from Danny. I'm interested in seeing if and how Danny's going to actually get it back.
Cool.
So that was my number 5. My number 4 was The Infected King Shazam. Did you guys talk about that yet?
Yeah, that was actually my number 4 too. So,
okay, I enjoyed this issue a lot. I like now we know that Mary's infected, and this is going to go into the Shazam family, and we're going to get more of it in Superman, Batman, or Batman, Superman. So
I like that was a surprise because she wasn't one of the promoted ones. So I liked it. Like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Completely agree.
Also, Tevye wants to know, we just talked about this book, but he wants to know your thoughts on Young Justice.
Young Justice is
Not your book.
not my book. It's so close to the shopping block at this point. Not even funny. And that's all I have to say about that. I really Ginny's origin, Drake. Yeah, Bendis is Bendising the book hardcore.
Dude, me and Mike said that the only thing we liked was Ginny. Then everything else we didn't like.
Ginny, her origin was about all I liked in the book. As far as the versus the Dark Young Justice, super easy, super quick. Even Superboy's like, we beat them already. Yeah, we won. Tim's new identity is Drake. Dumb, and yeah, now Naomi's joining the team. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and his name being Drake is dumb. Oh, this is going to be Drake. That's lazy.
And also, it's his secret identity. So, like, people are going, Tim, Drake?
Yeah, exactly. It's dumb.
And they changed his costume and everything. It's
brown.
Yeah, it's shit
Weird.
brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like
Hey, guys, check out my costume. It's brown. And my name's Drake. First name Tim. Drake.
But no one knows that. It's a secret.
Is your first name Tim? What?
How do you know that?
I'm Batman.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's I wish it was a better series. But yeah, if Brian Michael Bendis had more time to focus on it, I'm sure it would be.
Right. Exactly.
Even then, I don't know. He has his own thought process when it comes to these things, and I don't like it.
All right. So let's move on. So we're on number 3.
Yes.
Number 3 for me this week was Dr. Doom issue 2. Another great story. Obviously, Dr. Doom was held responsible for this environmental moon base that wound up getting destroyed. He tried turning himself in, but they kept him captive. He was going to prison. Kane shows up, and Kane shows Dr. Doom this future, and he tells Doom that he's this peaceful ruler, and he's like, I must get out of here to become the person that you see, that you're seeing in the future. So he's like, okay. And then Dr. Doom goes in hiding. He meets up with Morgan Le Fay, which is his ex-girlfriend or whatever in the past, and he goes in hiding, and he winds up trying to go talk to this mutant or somebody to help him see this future because he wants to see it himself. And some way, somehow, freaking Taskmaster comes out of nowhere and freaking sniper shots freaking Dr. Doom right through the head. And that's how the issue ends. And you're like, no shit.
As a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that is a cliffhanger. And it's not a life model decoy. It doesn't look like it because it's not made out of mechanical parts. It's a freaking blood's pouring out of him and everything. It was just really intense and really violent. So my mind was blown there. I'm like, where did Taskmaster come from? Who hired him to take Dr. Doom out? Can't wait to see what happens with this. So great book, man. It's really well written. So can't wait for the next issue. So that was my number 3. So Michael, what was yours?
A book we already talked about, Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 33.
All right. And Tavia's was
Miss Marvel.
Magnificent Miss Marvel. All right. And Kat, what is yours?
Mine is Miss Marvel, actually. I thought this was a better issue than what we've been getting. We get to see Kamala's dad end up in the hospital. So it's Kamala dealing with that. But I didn't love that there's a supervillain coincidentally in the hospital just to kind of build tension. But we also have Kamala dealing with her feelings for Bruno. They end up kissing in the end of the issue. So we'll see where that ends up going. But it was a solid issue. It's still not as good as the previous series. And I don't think it was a perfect issue by any means, but there are some good plot points in this one.
All right, cool. All right, so here's a book I don't read, but Death or Glory, issue 6.
This is a Rick Remender book, and me and Brant both read it. But yeah, this has not been on stands for a couple of months, and I felt it. I'm like, I don't remember what happened in this book. And we'll talk about books in the chopping block, but I think this is going to be on my chopping block because I couldn't get into it. And then because we haven't read it in a while, I'm like, do I need this book on my list? Probably not. So I think I might be dropping this one. I gave it 6 issues and only 1 issue I remember really liking.
There we go.
Right. Okay. Marvel DNGN says Marvel needs to stop spamming with the sniper rifles this week. Yeah, they're used a couple times this time around. All right, so that was the number 3 book. And Chris, did you give yours? I know you gave your 5.
Immortal Hulk.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yours was Immortal Hulk. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we
also
definitely
have some
we
of
talked
Brand's
about that.
too. We forgot he gave us on Facebook. So I'm going to read some of them. He had Miss Marvel issue 9 as his number 5. He had his number 4 as Undiscovered Country. And then his number 3 was Justice League.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's move on to our number 2 book this week. And my number 2 this week was Cat's probably most hated freaking book.
It wasn't my most hated. I just didn't understand why you loved it. I was just like,
X-Force issue 1.
I love this book as
you guys are on another planet.
I don't.
Uh-oh.
This is such a major part in what's going to happen in this story based off of what happened here.
But one thing that's crazy is that Hickman wrote New Mutants and didn't write this book, but this had more to do with X-Men.
Well, he made the
I
charts
agree.
that were in this book.
Right. He did make some charts.
Right. And so X-Force, I thought this was great. I loved how every person or character had a major role in this particular issue. And we got to learn that, the mutants have gotten soft since they've been on Krakoa, and they got a major attack on them. And Domino was captured. We got this organization that is going after them to assassinate freaking what's his face, Professor X, and they succeeded. And then you're left wondering, okay, well, how is it's going to happen. He's obviously going to come back. That's not the question, but it's kind of like, well, who, they figure if we destroy Professor Xavier, who's going to reincarnate these mutants because Cerebro was destroyed. Now I'm sure they have a backup Cerebro. They have a backup Cerebro to bring them back. I'm sure that was the plan. There's always a contingency, but I love the action. I love the character emotions in here. Peter trying to save a kid, and then we get to see the visions in there of how he was saving that child and why he was so beat up, and just everything about it. I just thought it was really, really well done issue. And then Domino, it was like, well, how did those people come in and not be seen by the other mutants? And I think I saw this on another video. They think that they scraped the skin off of Domino, and that's how they weren't detected, why they thought that Domino was making her way in. And then Professor Xavier had a psychic block, like he couldn't read those people's minds and stuff. Just everything about it I thought was good. And Logan was so much in character in this book. He was more in character here than he was, I felt, in Marauders. In Marauders, he was kind of like a joke, where here he was just like, that rough, rugged, trying to stay tough type of guy that he is. So I don't know. I liked it. I really, really did. When I was seeing X-Force, in my mind, we think of freaking Rob Liefeld, Cable, and all these characters. And
the Task Force, the Dark Task Force, doing the stuff that nobody else is willing to do.
And yet this is the mutants that we kind of all know, like Jean Grey, and, it has Domino in there, but she's the one that got freaking captured. But I thought it was good. I really did. I
really liked the cliffhanger, but I don't know. I couldn't get into this book. I didn't really like the team that much. Maybe it was just the characters they utilized. But it didn't give me enough to want to read issue 2, because I'm like, whatever big thing's going to happen, I don't think it will really be in this book. I think it'll be in X-Men. So I don't know. I wasn't feeling this one as much. I didn't really love the dialogue. I thought I just couldn't get into it. And also the artwork wasn't for me. So it's interesting. Like the complete opposite for New Mutants. I actually like the artwork there. And this I thought was a little bit too gritty for me.
Right. I get that. I thought it was cool. I just love the battle, and them just being on their heels. It's just they took where they were at for granted, and they got beaten. They got their ass beaten, and Wolverine was right. Place made you soft, and so really really cool. And again, the emotion of Wolverine was just awesome. Even at the end when they killed Professor Xavier. And then he's going to kill everybody else, and they're trying to hold it back and saying, dude, we need them. We need to find out information from them. DNGN says Black Tom Cassie also stood out in a good way. Yeah, I mean, he's attached to Krakoa, stuff like that. So I loved it. And, yeah, they're not necessarily a team. It just happened to be that they're the ones that are, I guess, together when this is going on. So, I don't know. Yeah, what do you think of this, Chris? Did you like it?
I loved it. I'm sorry. I agree with what Wolverine said. They're on Krakoa. They're getting all soft, except Beast he says that to Beast, and then Beast kind of comes back and says, yeah, you're right. When the chips are down, though, I still have that instinct in me, and that's why I think Beast is going to be on. I think he is in X-Force, right? He joined X-Force.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's on the cover. Yeah, he's on the cover.
So I'm invested. I like X-Force. Marauders. I like how Marauders played a part in here. Again, they're keeping all the books their own separate teams, but at the same time, the one thing I liked was that they're having the teams still cross over. So you saw Marauders in here, you saw the X-Men in here, you saw Krakoa in here.
Yeah.
So I like that they're kind of all intertwined in their own way. I'm more invested in X-Force than anything else right now. X-Force and X-Men. So definitely both strong books for me.
Yeah, I like how they cross it over too, because the problem that Marvel had with the X books last time with X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue, and whatnot, it was it always felt like those books, all these mutants were separate entities, and you never saw them cross over with each other. So right away, what they do is Marauders crosses over with X-Force. And I like that. Like, that they're all on the same thing. And even through other books, through Marvel, Krakoa is mentioned. I think it was mentioned in Immortal Hulk too this past week that Krakoa was mentioned in here. So they're doing a good job at making sure that, the mutants are part of the Marvel universe where before they weren't.
But do you think Professor Xavier is dead though? I don't think he's dead. I think if anything, I mean, they shot Cyclops and he lost an eye. Maybe they
it doesn't matter though, because they can always reincarnate him. So
That's
it's
true.
just a matter, like, I'm sure Professor Xavier said, okay, God forbid, if something ever happens to me, I need a backup. Jean Grey, you're going to be the next one because you're the next telekinetic that can do it. You're going to have another Cerebro to bring me back, right? So either that or it could be Forge, because he's the next technological advanced person. So as long as you have those other mutants that can reincarnate, that can, those 5, then they can bring back those other mutants. So if you do an assassination attempt, it's not necessarily Professor Xavier you want to kill. It's those other 5 key mutants that are able to put that reincarnation process together. So they'll bring him back. Now, whether he'll be the same or not, I don't know.
I don't know. I think that machine was kind of, I mean, if you remember at the end of the crossover, he was agreeing with the woman that, she's got to wipe all the good out of him. What if that machine is what's been kind of keeping him from being himself?
Yeah,
and now that machine's destroyed.
Yeah, is this the start of the real Professor Xavier coming through? But at the same time, I hope not, because that's really soon. Yeah, that's
way
really soon.
too early. Unless I don't know if they schism him away for a bit, like have him leave or disappear. But they've done that so many times before. I don't know. It's hard to say with X-Men because they've done a lot already.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So quite an interesting book. I'm looking forward to going where it goes, unlike New Mutants. All right.
I did not like the art in New Mutants, and I made it about 3 or 4 pages in, and I was.
Well, you missed all the good Ileana stuff
gee.
then.
No,
I,
you did
I
not.
skimmed through the rest of the book, and I was like, no. I'm sorry, Kat. I love you.
I didn't love it. Trust me. That's what's so funny is that I hated both books, but I just like New
At least
Mutants a
you
little
hated
bit
it.
more. Yeah, no, I did not like it. I'm giving that one another try because I like Ileana. Like I want to root for her, and I did like the artwork for that book, but I didn't like either book.
All right, so Kat, what was your number 2 book then? If it wasn't flipping X-Force,
Mine was Immortal Hulk issue 26. A
All
lot
right,
better
I'll
than
take,
New
I'll
Mutants.
take that one.
Wait, no, that was my number 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was my number 3. Batman 82 was my number 2.
Oh, okay.
It was too comedic. It was entertaining for me. I enjoyed it, so it got my number 2 spot.
All right, Michael, what was yours?
Number 2 was Savage Avengers issue number 7. I like how in this issue we get a little brief origin story of Cullen Gall. That plays a big issue in this one, and also about the sickle that plays in this as well. And there was so much of Elektra and Doctor Strange that was in this as well, because Elektra wants to help Voodoo, the character in the book, try to find his brother Daniel and deliver the message that she wanted delivered to him, whatever that may be. And we all know that Goth has him captive in his lair. And we also have like this brief history of how Goth and Doctor Strange fought years ago, which was a pretty good little bit of a thing. We also see Conan in action and with some people that he meets up with. He meets with Doctor Strange, actually, Doctor Doom, actually. And what was weird is that he was being nice to him, inviting him to eat in Doomstat, however you say that name. I don't trust what's going on here because something's going to be a setup.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the artwork, and it's a pretty good story. So I'm really intrigued to find out what Doctor Doom has up his sleeve to see what he's going to do with Conan. Because if I were Conan, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't say, no, I ain't eating with you. So
Dr. Doom moves up to his dirty tricks.
So we'll see what happens next time in the issue.
All right. So everyone gave their number 2 then, correct?
Yep.
All right. So next book that we're going to talk about, well, we talked about X-Force already. Chris, did you read Spawn issue 302?
I enjoyed Spawn 302. I like that they have the countdown again. And I like how now Ron found out that the power came more from him than his suit, but now his suit is affecting other people and in a negative way. So now what's what's the countdown for? Is it for the suit? Like, is the suit going to evolve or is the suit going to self-destruct? We all know what the countdown was last time. It literally got down to 3 at the end of this issue. So I'm guessing 304 or 303, 304, we're going to get to 0. And I'm interested in seeing what happens. The artwork for me, though, is I like Todd McFarlane's artwork.
It's too like blurred. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I didn't like that. I didn't like that part of the artwork either. I liked it, and I liked the She Spawn story too. I thought that story was interesting to see where she's going to go. But I liked the issue too, but the artwork took me a little bit out of it. Like seeing McFarlane's art on that book, that's what makes that book, man. Like he needs to, like, I guess he writes it, but God, he needs to draw it too.
After you read 300, it's like that's what you want it, and you realize that that's Spawn. And I understand McFarlane can't, but at the same time, it's just so hard. It's so hard to see other artists come on and try, and it's like not the same.
Yeah, they need to find an artist that's at least close. Like that.
Ryan Otley was it Otley? Am I wrong? No. Stegman and somebody else. Who were the variant covers? He did it with.
Well, you had Scott Snyder that did, or Greg Capullo did artwork for it.
I'm trying to remember now.
And,
I'm gonna
and
look up
had,
this one
there were
artist.
so many of them, but Capullo did the artwork for Spawn.
That's it. Greg
Yeah.
Capullo. That's the other one that you can get for Spawn, and at least it feels like Spawn a little bit. They did Haunt together.
Yeah. Yep, I remember that book.
Yeah, there we go. DNGN said it. They need another Greg Capullo or Capullo.
All right.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just so we'll see what happens with it. I liked it. I liked the issue. I read it. I liked it, but the artwork needs to be better.
Right. The
And,
artist would take you out of it a little bit.
All right. And I didn't read Green Lantern Black Stars. I got 2-3 pages. Oh, screw that. I'm not reading this shit. I couldn't get into it at all.
My time. Yeah, I didn't even waste my time.
All right. So let's move on to the number one book. My number one book this week was a book we talked about, which was actually my under the radar book, and that was Dead Eyes issue 2. What was yours, Chris?
X-Force number 1.
Cat.
Mine was also Dead Eyes issue 2. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
Say X-Force.
Yeah, no. Wasn't X-Force.
Yeah, X-Force was good, but it couldn't be Dead Eyes. Dead Eyes is a whole other level for me.
So good. Honestly, it was like so easy to pick of the week this week. It's like,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I was like,
so
I got
easy.
done reading. Like, I got like 2 pages into this, and I'm like,
Mhm. Right? It's so compelling.
yeah. And then I'm just like, and then it was over. I was like, shit, it's done already. And right away, I looked at my pile. I'm like, number 1. it was just even a contest. Tevius is number 2. It was Spawn issue 302. Spawn going hunting and kicking ass. So that's what he says. All right. And then Michael.
A book we already talked about was my under the radar book, Grimm Fairy Tales 2019 Holiday Special, issue number 1.
All right. So now we talked about a lot of books. So now, Chris, it's your turn to talk about the
Chop!
And we
We're
have a
going to
lot
chop
on the
some
list.
books. So, this week alone, the chop list has a lot of books. Cat. What? Oh, wait. Let's do Tevius
let's
number
read
1, which
first.
was Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
For all that reason. So, Kat, what are you chopping this week? I'm sure there's a lot of number 1s.
Yeah, I have a lot of number 1s. Legion of Superheroes issue 1 was an obvious one because I'm like, there's nothing here that I need. Death or Glory was a little harder because I've been reading it for a little while, but I didn't get enough from it where I'm like, I need this in my life. And then I think I'm going to drop X-Force. I might give it another issue because of the cliffhanger. We'll see how light the week is. If it's a light week, I'll try issue 2. But if it's not, I think I'm dropping that one.
So I agree with you, Kat, on Legion of Superheroes. New Mutants is definitely there. And Young Justice gets the half a chop. I need to see what happens in the next issue. But it's so hard dropping Young Justice because it's something that we've all wanted for so long, especially with Jeff Johns' Teen Titans gone and Superboy coming back. I was super excited. But Bendis makes it very hard to enjoy.
Yeah, I can't drop the book just because, first of all, you got Steph appearing in it. Then you got Cassie, you got Tim.
See, that's me too. I feel the same with Connor.
Yeah.
But then you look at what he did to Tim, and it's like, that's permanent.
I mean, Connor also has a kid, so there's a lot of weird stuff happening in that book.
I don't know. I feel like they need to take him off a couple of books. That's just me.
I would love to have another writer on Young Justice. And again, nothing against Bendis. I actually really like the way he writes regular Stephanie a lot. I think he wrote her really well, but there's just too much going on for him to be on Young Justice as well.
Totally agree.
So I'm dropping Legion of Superheroes. That's not even a freaking question. So the
unanimous chop goes to Legion of Superheroes this week.
Legion of Superheroes. It all gets the. And then let's see. Lois and Lane, I don't read. Green Lantern Black Stars. I picked up the first issue to see what it would be about. Then I started reading it, and I'm like, nope, I'm not reading this shit. So that's definitely getting the chop there. And New Mutants. I don't know.
It's gonna be great that next issue.
It's a half a chop right now. It's 50-50. 50-50. I
And
guess it
that's
just
funny.
depends.
Because your New Mutants is half and mine is X-Force, so.
Yeah. I don't know. It's because I want to know what's going on in the X world. And I'm kind of the same way with Excalibur too when that comes. I'm like, oh, Excalibur, I didn't like your first issue. Should I read this the second
Okay,
one?
I answered this in the comments, but SM Down, in all of his wisdom, wants to understand what a half a chop is. A half a chop means it's on the chopping block, but we're giving it one more issue before we make our commitment, because once it's chopped, that means it's done.
It's gone. It means we're not
Gone
picking
forever.
it up.
Exactly. Yeah. So it gets a half a chop because it's on the fence. It's on the block, and the cleaver's hanging ever so close to it. But we're going to give it
50-50, man. It's 50-50. It's like 1 second I'm like, yes. Then the next second I'm like, no. And then it's like, yes.
And then for me with Young Justices, I read it for Connor. I love Connor. So it's like, I want to like this book. So I'm going to give it one more issue. But the way Bendis writes it, it makes it very easy to hold the cleaver there and go, if you suck.
It's like, think about it this way. It's like you're on a reality show and you're about to get voted off the island.
Exactly.
Right? And you got to do whatever you can to stay on that island. Right? And then at the last second, you could get pulled away and get saved, or you could get chopped and get voted off. So that's basically what this is. We should name this the comic book show chopping block.
Survivor comic
to make it our reality.
What can you do to survive?
It's like Dead Eyes and X-Force. They're on next to each other. Who will survive this week? Oh, I'm going to beat you this week, Dead Eyes. I have Professor X that's going to die, but I have a guy by the name of Wheels, and he tries to get away, and then he gets drunk and gets a diabetic shock, and I crash, and we all survive, and we're just humans, and you guys are mutants. Well, screw you, Dead Eyes. So yeah, that's
Dead Eyes wins.
That's a good.
I like what DN said though. To paraphrase, it's like when you chop one person, then give the other guy the "you're next" look.
Exactly. There we go. That's true though. Yeah.
Could I give a half chop? Since we mentioned half chopping,
half chop goes to
2 books. Half chop is going to Red Sonja issue number 10. If the next issue gets it, it's hanging there. And as well as Spider-Man and Venom Double Trouble issue number 1.
I don't understand how you didn't chop that now. I looked at the art.
If I see another weird artwork and a story that completely
art's gonna be exactly the same.
You might as well chop it right now.
Yeah.
I'm giving it half the chop. I wanted to give it strike 2. That's it.
You gotta get
play baseball games.
Well, I know it's 3 strikes, but I'm giving this one 2. After the artwork and oh god.
All right. So I guess now we'll go on to the key issues for next week. So first one we could talk about is the family tree. This is the one where the girl turns into the tree, right?
She's a freaking tree.
How do you turn into a tree?
She's a freaking tree.
Are you walking in the grass one day and you're walking and then your feet turn into roots and it's just like, oh shit, I'm stuck. What's going on? You know, does your hair turn into a freaking
wait. How does she turn into a tree?
So that's actually the story. We don't know
I
how.
didn't read it.
Read the book.
Yeah, you should read it. It's good. In all seriousness, it's about this girl who starts getting a rash, and we find out it's like a tree rash, and it's this single mom who finds out, and she's like, oh shit, this is not a regular rash. Let's find out what's going on. And she takes her whole family on like a road trip to help her daughter. And then we have this like father-in-law who she doesn't get along with very much and is talking to her kid. So I guess the kid doesn't know that's her grandfather. And then we have this like teen angst kid. So it's written by Jeff Lemire. So if you enjoy his writing, if you like his family stuff, you should probably go check it out. Yeah. He wrote Green Arrow, so you might enjoy it. And also the artist of Kevin Smith's and Judd Winnick's Green Arrow is doing the art for this book. And she turns into a tree.
Wait, didn't Jeff Lemire also write the first Justice League Dark also?
Yes. I don't know. Possibly. Yeah, there you go. So you might like it. Give it a shot.
And if you get a Christmas tree in a tree, It's Green Arrow all over.
Oh
again.
god!
What kind of doctor do you see when you're growing and turning into a tree? Like how does?
I feel like some sort of skin specialist.
Hey,
doctor.
just look. My arm is turning into a branch. What are you gonna do about this?
A botanist.
A botanist.
Yeah.
Amputate it.
You could go to Cat's brother. I mean, he
Yeah, he can figure it out.
He'll figure it
I
out.
think it should be a crossover event, and she should go see Poison Ivy.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, that'd be good.
It would be good, but maybe not for her. Like, well, I guess Poison Ivy, she's all for like helping the trees, so I guess.
Right. Maybe
I
you
think
could
she would
see
want her to
why
stay
she's
as
turning
a
into
tree.
a tree.
I think she'd be like, no,
Oh,
you should
yeah.
stay this way.
Stay as a
Save-
tree. You
save
know
the
you want
trees.
to be a tree.
Be the
I'll
tree.
I can tap into the green and find out your inner workings. All right, let's move on. Marvel Action Spider-Man issue 11. Who's excited about this one?
Michael.
Yeah, Marvel Action Spider-Man issue 11. I can't wait to see what more they're gonna do about the whole symbiote and the Venom thing. Not like Double Trouble. This is totally different from that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what more is gonna be into this issue.
All right.
Double
Don't read
trouble.
it. All right. So next is going to be I don't read this shit. Event Leviathan issue 6.
Last issue.
Kat, yeah, I know
Last
you're gonna.
issue. That's the only reason why I'm even
And
bothering.
Chris.
I skimmed
So
do we
get the reveal of who it is at this point?
I have a
hope.
feeling
And why?
it's gonna be one of those books that
And do we care?
Exactly, because we're not gonna care about the reveal. It's gonna be garbage.
I'm excited to talk
Is-
about it next week. That's about it.
But
I'm excited to trash on it next
Yeah.
week.
is
I'm
this
just kidding.
going to have lasting events in the DC universe?
No.
though? Like,
no,
okay, so you don't feel that there's a point to this?
not at all.
It's happening at
Gotcha.
the same time as villains, the year of the villain.
I don't even know why we have this story.
I don't
know
either.
I was gonna
why
say,
it's
why
the
does-
point of it
Why
is
does
at
it
this point.
exist?
Well,
That's a
I
good
really-
question.
I don't even
I'd
know.
love to know why it exists.
I don't even know what bad thing Leviathan has done. Like, we don't even know what's the worst thing he's done. It's like, who cares? He took
And they
control
want to
of
be
some
the
people.
good guys. They just want to do bad things to be good.
Yeah, it's not good. Sadly.
First time
All right.
ever, I have to agree with Tavia. It's pointless.
No, honestly, that's true. Yeah.
First time
All right, so-
for everything.
So next is the Black Cat annual,
Wedding.
and this is the one where she supposedly marries Peter Parker. Like,
Yeah, Michael's ready.
what
for
is going on there?
I'm not reading that.
Why? It's not true. It's just I'm just curious. Like, what story are they telling here? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did we get to this point? So I think it could be a lot of fun. Could be the best Black Cat issue we get from that entire series. So
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but is that a competition? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look at it if I don't have any.
I
If I don't
recommend
have more
Family
books.
Tree more than Black Cat, though. I think you'll enjoy it. At least Family Tree, I think you'll have a little bit more longevity of. You could actually, like, if you like it, you'll.
But
read
we're
the
talking
series.
about books that are coming out
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So does Family Tree come out tomorrow?
I
So
thought
you-
it came out this week.
yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, Family Tree and Black Cat come out tomorrow.
Yeah, they come out tomorrow.
So if you have to pick and choose, or
Oh.
you read both, give them a try.
All right.
You don't have to.
Tree
pick
and a
He
wedding.
sounds excited. He sounds excited about it
All
for
right.
both of them.
I'm
He's like,
so
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I'm
Alright.
thinking about it. I'm just
All-
I'm thinking about it.
Both Family Tree and Black Cat Annual is in the big books next week, so want to be part of that. Read them.
Well, the next book that's highly anticipated on not anybody's radar here except for Kat, and that's Runaways issue 27.
Woo! Woo.
This has to do with that whole Captain Underpants
Jay-
guy. What's his name?
Doc Justice.
Doc. I'm Doc Justice, and I'm here to save the day with my Runaways.
I love this book, as you know. I am very excited to read this. Chris Anga's back on artwork for this issue, so I'm very excited. And it's just a play on, what we love about the superhero genre with the Runaways. So I'm very excited to read it.
Cool. And then last but not least, the second issue of X-Men.
Is it bad that I don't remember what happened in the first issue of X-Men?
Honestly, I feel like the first issue just set everything off, and then we had Marauders, New Mutants, X-Force, and it all kind of, I feel like it's all kind of connected in a way. So now we're going on.
X-Men was the one with the Summers household and the connecting rooms.
Yeah, remember?
And the scientist who got her husband killed. And at the end, she held up that crystal thinking that it might be like a resurrection stone or something like that.
I remember liking the issue.
Yeah, it was a good issue. Because it dealt with Scott. So Cyclops, how he was, family interaction. He was himself in the book. So I think that's what you liked about it. So
yeah.
And now we get the second issue and we get to see what happens here. See if it kind of somewhat ties into whatever's going on here, in X-Force. The best book so far of all the X books. So.
Honestly, I would say Marauders for me.
For me,
I would say
X-Men
it would be X-Force, X-Men, and then Marauders. Those are my top three so far.
I think X-Men's my number 2.
I'm going to wait till at least the 3rd or 4th issue. I just know I'm not reading New Mutants anymore.
So I'll be on your bottom of your list. I think we've at least discussed that we want to do a video ranking, all the series and which one was the best. So look forward to that at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is all the key issues. So, Chris, I'll hand it back over to you, and then we're going to close out the show.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. So before we close out the show, does anybody have anything they'd like to discuss before we close out?
Nope.
I would like to mention, because Brant's not here, Celestial Falcon is on Kickstarter. We are live until Friday. If you haven't backed Celestial Falcon yet, lastemberpress.com/Kickstarter. And you can definitely still back it. We are going to be live all the way through to Friday. Tomorrow, we're doing a Chris and Brand show live right here on Comic Frontline. Thursday, I'll be live on Facebook. And then Friday, I'm going to try to do a live show to close out the Kickstarter. We've already been funded. We're moving forward into stretch goals, and we're super excited to see where we're going to be come this Friday. So if you haven't backed Celestial Falcon yet, definitely go check it out on Kickstarter. And at the very least, share it with everyone you know. You never know. Somebody might be interested in checking out Celestial Falcon, and you just might be.
I actually shared it with like 2 people, and they both backed it up. I shared it with my one of the people I work with at Short Fuse, and he backed it up. And then my friend, like in real life, he's doing a comic book, and I showed him your comic, and then I just saw him yesterday. He's like, "Oh yeah, that book you were talking about? I backed it up." So you got 2 people because of my word of mouth.
Kat helped 2 people find Celestial Falcon.
Yeah.
Maybe you all can do the same with somebody you know. But with that being said, we're done. Have a happy I always say free. Have a happy new comic book day.
I wish it was free comic book day.
Yeah.
Comic book day every Wednesday, baby. That's a hashtag right there. But have a wonderful new comic book day. We'll see you all next week for another episode of Comic Book Weekly.
Or shouldn't we say don't forget to...
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Coming in with the save with my favorite part. Thank you, Michael. Because don't forget to subscribe. Yep. And then, Kat, once I get rid of this, you can point to, don't forget to click that bell that's over the other side, over Kat, because you'll get notifications after you subscribe about when we post new videos and go live. And Michael, if you'll point to your thing, don't forget to like the video and what Mike Spider-Slayer.
At least he hasn't had to point at anything.
Don't forget to follow Comic Frontline's social media as well as don't forget to follow all of our social media.
Yeah.
By the way,
technology, you gotta love it. Oh, spoiler alert! We'll be back next week.
Spoiler! We're coming back next week. Good night, everybody, and have a pleasant new comic book day tomorrow.
There, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.